welcome to another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're going to do a quick and easy project. It's a simple update to a pair of hoop earrings. Maybe you've seen some like these and thought you could only wear them just as is, but I'm going to show you some fun variations. So here's a simple pair of hoop earrings that have been in my jewelry drawer for ages, and I never wear them because, well, if you've seen my blog and my jewelry videos, you know the kind of jewelry I like, and frankly, I think these are boring. So I decided to jazz them up, and what you'll need are some hoop earrings that you can open and close securely is best. You'll need pairs of beads that are nice in proportion to the earrings. So like these leaves are cute, and these little flowers, those would be really cute with these in the middle, or these little teardrop shapes. So pairs of beads that you like with your earrings. For center drilled beads, like these round ones where the hole goes right through the middle, you'll need head pins. And for top drilled beads, like these teardrops that the hole, I don't know if you can see it, but the hole is at the top, you'll need some craft wire. And this is 22 gauge craft wire. It's what I have. You can also use 24. 26 is pretty thin. It gets difficult to manipulate, but it can be done. And then for tools, you'll need round nose pliers, a couple pairs of chain nose pliers, wire cutters, and to help finish your ends, a pair of crimpers are very helpful. So let me set these aside for a moment. And we'll start with a simple pair of center drilled beads, which you'll use with a head pin. So I'm going to slide on my two beads. That'll be a really cute bead dangle. And then we proceed just as we always have in making a wire wrapped loop. Take your smallest chain nose pliers and put the very tips right on the wire where it comes out of the bead. And bend that wire over the chain nose pliers so you have, here we go, a 90-degree angle. Now, before we go any further, we need to decide how big the loops are on these earrings, on these dangles for our hoops, because they need to be able to fit over our hoops. And in this case, I've got this little clasp here. I want to be sure it fits over that. So the way I determined that, it's pretty simple. I just did it by eye. I took my round nose pliers, and I held them so that I could see, close so that I could see down both tips, hiding the bottom ones. And then I took my hoop and positioned it, and it's hard to get this on camera, but if you do it with one eye and position your hoop until you can see where on the pliers the hoop disappears. So you want to find the section of your pliers that's a little bit bigger than your hoop. And in mine, it's about 2/3 of the way up. If you want to, you can make a mark on your pliers that will help you. But I'm just going to eyeball it. So once you have your 90-degree bend made, go ahead and grasp that bend at the spot on your pliers where you need to have the size of the loop you need. And then bend the wire up and over. Once you can't go any further, you'll be able to get just about that far. Go ahead and reposition your round nose pliers and finish the loop. Now at this point, the two wires, the one coming out of the bead and the one that the end, should be at 90 degrees to each other. Next, I'm going to grab that loop with my one pair of chain nose pliers, and I'm going to grab the end with my other pair of chain nose pliers start to make a wrapped loop. Now the reason I'm doing this with pliers, I really prefer to do it with my fingers, but the reason I'm doing it with pliers is that head pins tend to be stiffer than wire, and I actually get a nicer result. I get a neater wrap if I use a tool to hold that wire. So then I'm going to cut that end of the wire. I'm going to put my thumb over the excess so that it doesn't go flying when I cut it. And then to tuck in that little bit of excess wire, I'm just going to use my crimpers. They work really well to round over that bit of wire, and feel it with your finger. Make sure there isn't anything sharp. Now to neaten this up a little bit, go ahead and slide it back over your round nose pliers again and give it a few wiggles. That makes your loop bigger, and it also tightens up your wraps. And so here we have a little dangle. Isn't that pretty? Now I would wear that. And then here's the matching one for the other side. Although, you know, this is such a quick project, you could make several. You could make them in different colors. Although that one doesn't, that one I gotta tighten up a little bit more. There we go. Oh no, that's pretty. Now for the other type of bead, for the top drilled beads, you're going to need craft wire. This is 22 gauge craft wire. You could also use gold filled, sterling silver, silver filled, whatever works for you. But if you're new to wire wrapping, then use the craft wire to practice with. This is 22 gauge. It's what I had. You could also use 24. 26 would work, although it's very thin and harder to manipulate. It just gets floppy. So I'm going to cut, about a 3-inch. I'm going to cut a good piece of this. It's much easier to have a slightly longer piece than you need than to not have enough. And then thread it through the hole in the top drilled bead and leave about 3/4 of an inch hanging out one end. Fold the two wires up so that they're parallel to each other and perpendicular to the hole going through the bead. Cross the wires over each other so that they make a triangle. And right where those wires cross, grab each one with a pair of chain nose pliers and bend them so that they're going parallel to each other again. Just like that. Now trim this shorter one down to less than 1/8 of an inch from the bend. And then really you proceed just the same way that you did with your other types of wire wrap loops. Hold right there with your chain nose pliers, bend the wire at a 90-degree angle. Use your round nose pliers to make a loop of the size you need. Go around as far as you can. I'll straighten that out later. I know it looks kind of wonky. Reinsert the pliers, finish the loop. When you're done with that loop, it should be sticking out at a 90-degree angle. It should be parallel to the bead hole. Yeah, I really gotta straighten these out a little bit. And now I'm going to hold on to this loop with my chain nose pliers and wrap around that little bit. Now if this wire gets a little too short to manage, first of all I'm going to swap this over to my non-dominant hand, and then I'm going to use my other pair of chain nose pliers to hold the end of the wire and finish the wrapping. This gives you a lot more control when you're using stiffer wire. See, I'm getting those wraps really nice and neat, which I would not have been able to do with just my fingers. And then, the same as usual, trim with wire cutters. And by the way, if you find the crimpers won't get it neat and you just can't get that wire flat and not sharp, go ahead and pull out a file and file it, because you certainly don't want something sharp next to someone's skin, you know, tangled in their hair. They're wearing the earrings. And then it is fairly important to take a little time to make sure that these dangles are hanging nice and straight, because otherwise they won't look so good hanging from the hoops. And there you have it. And here's another one that I made, and here's one I made with the leaves. And you know what would be a lot of fun is to actually put a whole bunch together. Oh. So if your hoop isn't big enough, just put it back on the pliers. Give it a wiggle. Wasn't that fun? So there you are, a way to take a fairly plain pair of hoop earrings and jazz them up. This would be a fantastic Christmas gift for somebody, giving them a pair of hoop earrings and an assortment of dangles that they can add to them. So here's another look at the project we made today. I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll give it a try. Here are a couple more videos that you might enjoy. Also be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you don't miss a thing. And check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where there's lots more crafting and jewelry ideas and inspiration. So thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.